Good afternoon, dear friends. Today we will talk with you about astral flights. Are they needed or not? Is it interesting or not? Let's look into these issues. And at the same time, we will figure out how safe it is, if it is really safe. There is a so-called etheric plane of life. There is an ethereal state of life for each person. Each of you has your own ethereal, so-called astral body, which belongs to the astral plane of life here on this planet. Each of you creates the astral reality of life, and these are your emotions, feelings, your worldview, beliefs, and attitude towards each other. The astral state of life is reality, my friends, the reality that you create with your feelings and your emotions. Since you all live in the world with everyone together, each of you creates your own reality. Therefore, all your astral realities mix with each other, interact, and complement each other, creating the reality of the life of the astral plane. The astral space is more expanded in its vision and senses of perception, as your senses of perception are much more multifaceted than what you see with your physical eyes and perceive with your eyesight. Your astral life, since it is more extended, has certain very interesting aspects. These aspects have their own specific laws and regulations. Astral flights, in which a huge number of people are now involved, on the one hand are very interesting. Why are they interesting? Vision on the astral plane is more varied. The possibilities of the astral plane are also more extended than the possibilities of the physical plane of life. And this, of course, arouses a certain interest among people who begin the path and process of their development. Robert Monroe wrote a lot about this, but he wrote in the 60s of the last century. Now everything has changed, and the astral plane has become very compressed, heavy, and very rebellious. I would say this: the astral plane has become very dangerous for the psyche of every person, every traveler. But due to the fact that life has changed both for the better and for the worse, the possibilities of many people have opened up and expanded, and many people are now being trained in astral flights, which in turn arouses their interest and gives them new processes of cognition, and on the other hand creates a certain danger to the mental state of each person. And firstly, every person who makes such flights should be very well versed in this area. Moreover, each person who performs astral flights, for his safety at least must have higher vibrations that correspond to the astral plane of the life of the human being himself. If a person doesn't have high vibrations, he will definitely fall into lower vibrations of the astral plane, where a certain danger will threaten his life and his psyche. And a person can fall into certain destructive states and return with already certain changes in his mind, which then introduces a person into a state of aggressiveness, insanity, misunderstanding, and an unconscious state of life. My friends, I will tell you from the experience of many people that many people who make astral flights are first involved in this process, but then a certain state comes into the minds of these people when they cannot understand where their true reality is, the reality in which they are now present on the physical plane, or the reality that they accomplish in astral flights. Such a person, by his internal state, does not have the necessary vibrational state, thanks to which he could understand the true understanding of life, which leads the person to certain processes of destruction and confusion, the so-called mind confusion. To avoid this confusion, a person must develop, he must surpass astral flights. A human being can learn to read information from a higher source of life, and thus a higher state of reading information and understanding a new life gives a person an expanded state of consciousness. After listening to today's video, many of you can still ask a question. So please tell me, is it necessary to perform astral flights and learn this or not? My friends, I have no right to forbid or impose anything on you. Each of you has the possibility of free will, the right to choose. And in the near future we will live about free will and the choice of each person. Now I want to give you, shall we say, a warning. I want to tell you that astral flights are not safe. And since the astral space is very heavy right now, if you could see it, you would see a heavy, sticky, black, terrible fog, like black smoke, which sticks to the subtle body of a person, to his emotional body, and even creates certain processes of destruction of the astral body of each person who flies in the astral space of low, heavy vibrations. Yes, you will say that there are also high vibrations of the ethereal state of human life. Yes, they do exist, but few of the people now correspond to precisely this high level. Only spiritually developing people, those people who correctly understand life. But the majority of people are in a very difficult low astral state, where a person falls ill and becomes infected with unnecessary destructive ethereal programs that create processes of destruction, both on the ethereal state of a person's life and on the physical level. And this is reproduced in the form of diseases, troubles, problems, and difficulties in people's lives. Yes, my friends, astral flights, on the one hand, would not be bad for a developed society. But since humanity is not spiritually developed, not developed in its energy state, this can be a very serious danger for many people. I know those people who, making these flights, flew away once in a certain meditative state, returned back as completely different beings, and even lost their individuality and their personality. Now the astral space, the heavy state of the astral plane, which completely covered the planet, is controlled by the matrix, low vibrational system, low programs of the human life space. And this indicates that these programs are very destructive. And if a person, not having high, pure spiritual vibrations, knowledge, conditions, necessary energy, makes these flights, he risks his life very much, risks his psyche, he risks himself very much. Therefore, my friends, I do not welcome astral flights. I am for your development. I am for your evolution. I am for you to expand your consciousness through knowledge. It is the knowledge that is the most expensive and most valuable thing in the cosmos. When you have certain knowledge, you can skillfully apply it in your life, so in this way to solve any problem and any situation. Therefore, study, develop, improve, and gain experience that will create high vibrations of your evolutionary path for you. Astral flights are interesting, but also dangerous. The choice is yours. Each of you makes your choice, but also each of you is fully responsible for your choice. We will talk with you about this in more detail in the upcoming live broadcast. Many people wonder if dreams are also certain astral flights. Yes, my friends, we will also talk about dreams a little later. This is also a process, but it also directly depends on you. I want you to understand that everything that happens, everything that you study in this world, you can influence and impact everything. How? Your very attitude, your condition is your influence. For example, your thoughts are an influence, your feelings are an influence. What is influence? It is the radiance of certain inner vibrations of your own that you all have. After all, you all think, feel, realize something, understand, and thus you radiate waves. These waves find their own similar waves and enter into resonance with them, and thus each person receives the so-called influence or impact. Therefore, if you want to influence this world with love, feel this love within yourself, and then your influence will be constructive. You will radiate love, goodness, and mercy to the whole world, which you will receive in return, because your vibrations of love, kindness, and mercy will find the same kind vibrations of other people, enter into resonance with them, and there will be love, happiness, and goodness on this planet. Good luck to you, friends. Improve yourself,